Tonight at 10, plans to allow gay couples to marry have been approved by MPs. But the debate reveals deep divisions among Conservative MPs, most of whom refuse to back the bill.
Marriage is by its nature a heterosexual union. It is a bringing together of one man and one woman. It is not just a romantic attachment.
Above all, I think of two people, faithful and loving, who simply want their commitment to be recognised as it is for straight couples. And that, in the end, is what this bill is about.
Supporters say it is a natural development from civil partnerships, and the Prime Minister agrees.
I think it's right that gay people should be able to get married too. This is, yes, about equality, but it's also about making our society stronger.
We'll be asking how dangerous the Tory divisions are for Mr Cameron. Good evening. David Cameron's plans to legalise gay marriage in England and Wales have been approved by MPs. But the debate revealed deep divisions among the Conservatives, most of whom refused to back the bill. Mr Cameron says that same-sex marriage will make society stronger, but many of his colleagues insist that the plans will alienate voters. Our political editor, Nick Robinson, has the latest for us.
At 7 o'clock tonight, the bells of Big Ben tolled, but for what? The end of anti-gay discrimination, or the end of marriage as we've always known it?
Your Jesus is not the Jesus of the Bible.
The passion outside the Commons matched at times today by the passion inside, but the vote when it came was clear and decisive.
The ayes to the right, 400. The noes to the left, 175.
A massive majority for gay marriage, but more Tories voted against than in favour. How it must hurt David Cameron to be applauded by his opponents, but snubbed by so many of his own supporters.
It hasn't won the majority of MPs in the major governing party, and that needs to be a wake-up call that he's got to be much more sensitive to some of the concerns expressed in this debate today as this bill goes through Parliament.
We will, of course, bring you the result as soon.
In a pub in Whitby, the result was watched by landlords Andrew and Colin, who believe this could change their lives together.
It does mean that we would move on from a civil partnership to a marriage and have the full wedding and have everything that we wanted to and celebrate that with our family and friends like we wanted to initially 6 years ago.
Like everybody else can.
If you're wondering what the fuss is all about, given that civil partnerships have been law these past 8 years, just listen to this clash between two Tory MPs.
Marriage is the union between a man and a woman. Has been historically, remains so. It is Alice in Wonderland territory, Orwellian almost, for any government of any political persuasion to seek to come along and try to rewrite the lexicon.
Are the marriages of millions of straight people about to be threatened because a few thousand gay people are permitted to join? What will they say? Darling, our marriage is over. Sir Elton John has just got engaged to David Furnish.
David Cameron was apparently too busy meeting the American Vice President to come to the Commons to hear the arguments or to witness the trauma his proposals have caused. He left it to his Equalities Minister to sound reassuring.
This bill, I believe, is about one thing. It's about fairness. It's about giving those who want to get married the opportunity to do so, whilst protecting the rights of those who don't agree with same-sex marriage.
No church, no mosque, no temple will be forced to marry anyone gay, the government insists. But that's not satisfied many religious groups.
Those opponents of this bill, many hundreds of my constituents, are not homophobic, are not bigots, and are not barking.
This legislation was not in our manifesto, it was not in the coalition agreement, and it was not in the Queen's speech.
It is now more than 45 years since the law was changed to stop homosexual acts being an imprisonable offence.
For many of us, this is revolting, men dancing with men.
Attitudes few would dare articulate now, Most, though not all, Labour and Lib Dem MPs see gay marriage as the next vital step towards equality.
And I hope opponents today will look back in 10 years and won't be able to remember what the fuss was about. So today, let's vote for people to be able to marry, for the sake of those couples who really want to wed.
Proposals meant to find new ways to bring people together have also created divisions which the Prime Minister must now live with.
I think it's right that gay people should be able to get married too. This is, yes, about equality, but it's also about making our society stronger. I know there are strong views on both sides of the argument. I respect that, but I think this is an important step forward for our country.
Sometimes people say that Parliament is irrelevant. Not today, when it agonised about the meaning of love and faith and tolerance.
Nick, this is clearly a momentous parliamentary event, but the impact surely to be felt much further afield.
That's right. It's one of those nights, Hugh, in which it's very different outside Westminster, inside. Outside, this will be seen as the first step towards either equal marriage or the despoiling of marriage, depending on your point of view. Inside, it is only the first of many parliamentary steps in which, both in the House of Commons and in the House of Lords, there are likely to be demands from those people who oppose gay marriage, not to stop it altogether. I suspect they know they've lost that argument, but to reinforce guarantees to the Church of England and other religious institutions, to registrars, to other people who simply don't accept this and see it as a piece of ideology imposed on them by a government they fundamentally disagree with. There's something else going on as well, Hugh, which is a great open wound in the Conservative Party. Remember that David Cameron announced this idea of gay marriage to applause at his party conference, and yet tonight 139 Conservative MPs refused to support him. 18 members of his own government and many others abstained. Compare those numbers with, and there were opponents in other parties, 22 for Labour and 4 for the Liberal Democrats. But what I picked up here was real anger after the vote. Anger that you might predict from those who oppose gay marriage. One Tory MP said to me, "We are politically self-harming. What would you do with a dog that bites its own back leg off?" Hyperbole, you might think, until you hear the views of one of those people who voted with David Cameron tonight, who stopped me in the corridor of the Commons to say, "This is not leadership. I have taken an awful lot of flack for this, and the Prime Minister didn't even turn up for the debate." What happened tonight, Hugh, is just the beginning.
Nick, thanks very much once again. Nick Robinson there for us at Westminster.